It all started the day we got the keys to the house we had just bought. June 14th, 2015. That was the day everything changed. We stood on the cracked sidewalk of Elm Lane, the oppressive humidity of a New Jersey summer clinging to us, staring up at the slate-gray Victorian. It was perfect. 6 bedrooms, wraparound porch, the kind of heavy, dark oak woodwork inside that you just don't find anymore. We had stretched our budget to breaking point to buy it. We wanted our children, Leo and Maya, to grow up with space, with a yard, away from the cramped apartment in the city. This was 442 Elm Lane, our dream. Maya, barely 7 years old, ran ahead screaming with delight as she hit the porch steps. Leo, 10 and trying to be cool, walked beside Sarah, my wife, who was already mentally placing furniture. I carried the first box, the one marked kitchen, urgent, coffee, feeling a profound sense of accomplishment. We had made it. The first letter arrived 2 days later. It was mixed in with the usual junk, the flyers from local pizzerias and the welcome to the neighborhood packets from the bank. It was a thick, cream-colored envelope, heavy cardstock, and the address was typed on a manual typewriter. To the new owners of 442 Elm Lane. I opened it in the kitchen. Dearest new neighbor, welcome. Elm Lane has been waiting for you. This house specifically has been waiting. Did you hear it calling to you before you made the offer? It has a voice, you know. You just have to listen closely when the traffic dies down and the moon is high. I see you have begun the work. The contractors are busy. Are you sure you should be changing what has stood for a century? The house does not like being cut open. The previous owners knew this. They respected the walls. Do you know what is in the walls? I am watching. I will be watching as you move your possessions in. I will be watching as you sleep. I am the watcher. I am everywhere here. I read it twice. The tone shifted from welcoming to weirdly possessive. I chuckled, feeling a slight flush rise up my neck. "Sarah," I called out, "I think the neighbors are hazing us." I showed it to her. She frowned, reading it over. "It's odd," she said slowly, "but maybe it's just someone with a strange sense of humor, like a local historian who is a bit too enthusiastic." We laughed it off and stuck it under a magnet on the fridge. A local character, that's all it was. But the renovations continued, and the house began to feel wrong. We were sanding the floors in what would be Leo's room when the first strange sound started. It wasn't the usual creak or settle. It was a tap. 3 distinct taps. Then silence for exactly 60 seconds. Then tap, tap, tap. It seemed to come from inside the wall, near the fireplace. We ignored it. Old houses, we told ourselves. Pipes, mice. The second letter arrived on July 2nd. The thick cream envelope was there again. This time, when I saw it, the smile didn't come. A knot tightened in my stomach. I took this one to my new office, a small room in the attic, away from the kids. My dear new neighbor. The noise. Oh, the noise you are making. The house is screaming. How dare you force modern wires through its aged wood? How dare you tear down the wallpaper that saw so much? I am pleased you brought the children, the young blood. The house needs young blood to keep its eyes open. I see the boy, Leo. He likes his high room, doesn't he? He thinks he is safe so far up. He doesn't know the secrets of the crawl spaces. And the girl, Maya, she sings so sweetly in the garden. I know her schedule now. I know when she is alone. I know which window is hers. You cannot hide from me. I was here before you were born, and I will be here long after you are gone. 442 Elm Lane belongs to me. You are merely occupants, for now. The Watcher. My hands were shaking so hard the letter rattled. This wasn't a joke. This was surveillance. The writer knew their names. They knew which room was Leo's. They had to be close. They had to be standing on the street, watching, or maybe in one of the adjacent yards. I ran to the attic window and looked down. The street was empty, shimmering in the heat haze. The neighbor's yard, obscured by overgrown hedges, was still. We went to the police that afternoon. Detective Harris was polite, but dismissive. "Look, Mr. Henry," he said, leaning back in his chair, "you've moved into a tight-knit neighborhood. Some people get possessive about their street. It's creepy, I grant it, but until they threaten you directly or show up on your property, it's just malicious harassment. We'll file a report, but there's not much we can do." "They referenced my children by name," I said, my voice rising. "People talk," Harris replied smoothly. "Neighbors see kids. It's not hard to find out a name." We went home, but the house didn't feel like ours anymore. It felt like a stage, and we were the unwitting actors, being observed from a dark, invisible audience. We stopped the renovations. The tapping in the walls didn't stop, though. It became more erratic. On July 10th, I was working late in the attic. Sarah and the kids were asleep. The house was silent, save for the hum of the air conditioner and that damn faint tap-tap from downstairs. I rubbed my eyes, feeling the exhaustion. We hadn't been sleeping well. I walked to the attic window to clear my head. I looked out onto Elm Lane, the streetlights casting long, distorted shadows. And that's when I saw them. Across the street, in the dense shadows beneath a massive oak tree, a figure was standing. Just standing. They were perfectly still, a dark shape barely distinguishable from the trunk. I blinked, sure my eyes were playing tricks on me. They were facing our house, facing me. I grabbed a flashlight, my heart hammering against my ribs, and ran down the 3 flights of stairs, nearly tripping. I burst out the front door, the warm night air hitting my face. I ran across the lawn and across the street, flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. "Hey!" I yelled. "Who are you? What do you want?" I reached the oak tree. There was no one there. But the grass, the tall, unkempt grass at the base of the tree was matted down in a distinct pair of footprints. Someone had been standing there for a long time, standing there and watching my window. The 3rd letter arrived the next morning. It was taped to the front door. "You see me, but you do not know me. You ran. Why did you run? I was just saying good night. It was a lovely night for it, wasn't it? You think your flashlights and your running will save you. You are foolish. I am not outside, you pathetic little man. I told you, I am everywhere here. The walls, the crawl spaces, the cold cellar. I see you when you are most vulnerable. I saw what you did last night before you went to sleep. The house sees it too. Bring me the young blood. They are almost ready." I stopped reading. I dropped the letter on the porch and ran back inside. Sarah was in the kitchen, making breakfast. I grabbed her arm. "We have to go, right now. We are leaving." "What? What is it? You're scaring me." "He's inside, Sarah. He's inside the house." We packed 2 suitcases. We told the kids we were going on an impromptu camping trip. We left 442 Elm Lane that morning and checked into a motel 20 miles away. We never spent another night there. We tried to sell the house, but who would buy it? The stories spread. A house with a ghost is one thing, but a house with a living, unknown predator attached to it? We had to disclose the letters to potential buyers. The value plummeted. We paid the mortgage on an empty house for 4 years, our savings draining away. In 2019, we finally sold it at a loss of nearly $250,000 to a development company that wanted to tear it down and build condos. But before the wrecking ball came, I went back, one last time. It was 2018, 3 years after we fled. I was just passing through New Jersey for business and felt the compulsion. I pulled up to Elm Lane. The yard was a jungle, the paint on the gray Victorian peeling in great sad sheets. I walked up the steps, my stomach churning. The air felt heavy. I didn't go in the front door. I walked around the back to the bulkhead cellar door. I had never checked it before. We had never used the cellar. I yanked on the heavy wooden door. It was locked, but the wood was rotten. With a sharp tug, the padlock tore right out of the frame. I shined my flashlight down the stone steps. It was damp and smelled of mold. I went down. The cellar was empty, just a dirt floor and stone walls. But in the far corner, my light found something strange. There was a small chair, a child-sized chair, pulled up to the far wall. The stone there looked different, smoother. I approached it. I pushed on the wall, and it gave way. It was a cleverly hidden panel, a swing door made to look like the stone foundation. Behind it, a tight, low crawl space receded into absolute darkness. I shined the flashlight in. The crawl space was lined with heavy plastic sheeting. On the ground, near the entrance, was something else. A small pile of things. A pair of sunglasses, a small toy soldier, and a crumpled, familiar, cream-colored envelope. I didn't pick them up. I just backed away, slowly, up the stairs, out into the 2018 sun. I never found out who it was. The police couldn't find a single matching DNA sample from the envelopes. The development company tore the house down 2 months later. 442 Elm Lane is gone. There's a generic block of gray luxury apartments there now. But sometimes, when I'm walking past a large tree at night, or if the house we live in now makes a sound in the quiet hours, tap, 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 I feel it. I feel that distinct freezing sensation of being watched by something I can't see, that has all the time in the world to wait.